Page 4, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Style. Based on the song Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, it's going through a lot of different styles of music. Every 2 to 4 measures or so, or 3 or 4 measures, whatever, you get a different style of music. They're rather confusing, but they put it together, so let's go through it. I look it over, it's 2 pages long. The clef signs are treble and bass clef. There's 1 flat in the key signature. This is in the key of F major, so go ahead and do the scales and arpeggios for F major and D minor, because D minor also has 1 flat in the key signature. 4/4 time signature to start, it changes throughout, but we'll deal with that. At the beginning, it's 4/4, and then right hand. Again, I want a fingering that lets me connect the notes if I can get it. So it's here. Reach up. And then third measure, it is a 3 and a 4, which we're changing hand positions on repeated notes because we need to be back down here. Measure 7, it's a here. There's 2 voices. The top voice is C's, and the bottom voice. They take the 2 voices together. That's why the stems are different. Now, a lot of publishers, even in these quarter notes on measure 7, the here and here, they would actually have the quarter notes have different stems. They would have the top note be a top stem and the bottom note be a bottom stem to indicate the different voices. They don't have to, obviously, because they can combine them. But then in the third beat, you see it because the rhythm's different. They have to split it up. But it's just 2 voices. Make sure you hold the C down for both of those. Rest. Watch out on measure 8. And then gotta hold the B flat down. Going on, same got a sequence, and then here. And then measure 11, 3/4 time. Now, when you change time signatures in a piece like this, we're going 4/4 to 3/4. We need something that kind of ties them together in most cases. And this piece is going to be the speed of the quarter note. It's going to be the same speed. The only difference is instead of counting to 4, we're just counting to 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, whatever it is. So here it's 1, 3, 1, here. This way we're in position for what's coming. So it's, and measure 12, that little curly thingy, the hooky-doo thingy, I'll do that later. Right now, just play the notes. Here and then 5. They don't need the flat sign in measure 13. It's a B flat anyway, because there's a flat sign in the key signature. But you just had a B natural in the measure before. So they're being clear. Make sure you play a flat. My problem with that is you get to thinking, well, it's required. That if that flat sign were not in measure 13, it would be a natural again? No. It's a flat anyway, so don't rely on this. Another publisher won't give you these courtesy signs. I finished measure 14 here, and then measure 15, they went a 4th finger. You can, but there's 2 B flats in that, so I can use a 3 and then a 4. I can change on that because I'm going to do it again on the next measure. At measure 18, we need a thumb on that, on the F. This way we're ready for the next measure. Now we're back to 4/4 time. Changed on the rest. And now in measure 20, we do need the natural sign in front of the F. Because that little grace note thingy, which I'll do later, that's an F sharp, and that sharp would apply for the rest of the measure. So this natural sign is needed, or it would be an F sharp. And then 21, measure 21, and cross over here. Now let's look at measures 21 and 22. We're here, 2, 1, and I'm just staying in this position here, and then here. We don't really need the natural sign there either, but it doesn't hurt because it can be confusing. You just had a D sharp, so, and then And 1, 2, 3 for the last one. I'm connecting this here. And then going on, we can do a 1, 2, 4, measure 23. It's 1, 3, 5, and then 1, 2, 4. And then for measure 24, we got to come all the way up here. And how many ledger lines is that? You know, I'm hoping it's 3. 2 is a C. You need to know that note. So 3 would just be up here. You're coming all the way from here to here. You just got to lift up and move. Here. And it's 3 here. You may have to practice that move, because there's no rest or anything. You don't, it's not a quick jerky motion or nothing. You just lift up and move. 3, 2, 4, the B flat, it's in the key signature, and then an A here. We just did a whole tone scale. Here, that's a whole tone. Every note is a whole step apart. Whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step. It's a whole tone scale. Isn't that neat? Here, and then you just lift up and move back down here 3, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 2. Now, in measure 26, I'm going to do a 1, 4 because I can get the next measure in the same position. I'll do 2, 5. All of those notes in measures 26 and 27 is all one chord. I can get it in one hand position. This way I don't have to move around as much. So I start here and then I come up. 1, 4, 2, 5, 1, 4, 2, 3. Then they want a 4. Well, I'm using 4 here, so I'm going to use 5, 3, and then reach out and use 5 again. And this is 5, 4 times. Well, again, you're just counting to 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all that is. And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then one up here. Down here. Don't have a lot of help for you in moving from measure 31 to 32 because you're here. You got to come up here. Just lift up and move. However, going from measure 32 to 33, if you'd like, rather than doing that, you can scrunch up and use 4, 5 for the last 2 notes. That way you're closer. Like so if you want to. And that last chord will spell out the chord. It's an A, C, a D natural. You don't need the natural sign, it's a natural anyway. And an F. That's it. Yeah. Okay. That's the right hand. Now the left hand, see what it's doing. Well, we have broken chords. You're kind of stuck up here when you're doing this, so do the best you can. You don't have to stay up there. When you come back, you can come back out here. And then what, 5? Yeah. Measure 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I'm going to use 2, 1 for the last one. This way I can reach the next measure, or measure 4. So it's, again, measure 3 is 1. And then a 2, 1. Which finger you care to use because they're all F's, and eventually you got to come down to a C. So if you just want to use, I usually alternate 1 and 2 on this. I don't want to use the same finger on all these notes. I like to use multiple fingers. Anyway, the fingering in the book is working fine as in the left hand. Let's go down and take a look at measure 29. We have multiple voices going on again here. You have, it's going to hold down for the rest of the measure. Here, and as you do that, and then here. You can use a 3 here if you want. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a 4. Hold it down. And then here. Hold that down. And then you're going on. So then I'll put the hands together, and I'll probably hesitate, but that's okay. I just want to know how they're working together. Now let's go to measure 3. It's here. 1 and 2. You get that? Yeah. You can see how the notes line up between the staves. You can tell who's playing together in measure 3. It's here. Then here by itself, and then that comes down, and then here. These are together. That's by itself. And then here. Rest. Yeah. Measure 7. Again, you can tell how the notes line up. It's here. So the F comes in between beats 2 and 3. And you're just hanging on to that then. So put the heads together. And then I'll go back over this just a few. Here, because it's in different styles, and each style only lasts anywhere from 2 to 4 measures. Then take it a style at a time. Like at the beginning, the simple melody. Just get that, no hesitations. And then do the reggae style, no hesitations. And then you just do all the styles, get rid of the hesitations. Keep it slow, no problem, but no hesitations. And then after that, I'll do the articulations, staccatos, and these little grace note thingies. It's short, and I'm flexing at the wrist here. This is not. And then no more staccato now. And connected here. And measure 5 and 6, those curved lines in the left hand are slurs. Connect all of that together here. And then the pop style, you just play it. Okay, and then the courant, connect this here. That's measures 11. And this little mark here, measure 12, that little squiggle, called an inverted mordant. We're going to go here. We're going to play the C and a D and a C. It means play the note given and the next note up in the scale, and that note again, 3 notes total, very quickly. And I use 3 fingers for this usually because I don't want to go on one finger. One finger's got to play that note very quickly. So I do it. And you can use different fingers, 1, 3, 2, or 2, 3. Depends on the music and what you need. So here, here, and here, I can do that, 3, 4, 1, because I've got here, very quickly. And then for the B flat, it's the same thing. It's a B flat and a C. I'm going to 2, 4, 3. Don't make them triplets. They're not triplets. No, they're not triplets. It's very quick, 3 notes. Yeah, and they're on the beat. The first note is on the beat. It comes with the left hand. Yeah. On the beat. Here. On the beat. Here. Here. That. Now in measure 14, here. That one, that has a line through it. It's not just a squiggle, it's a squiggle with a line. This is a mordant. This, you go down. You go to the note in the music, down 1 key in the scale, and that is 3 notes. Just going the other way. There, on the beat. And then, yeah, that's how I do those. Takes a little practice on these. Do the best you can. Practice these with different fingers because you're going to need them. In music, the fingering you use for them is based on what comes before and after, what fingers are available. So it's like, most of the time it's a 2, 3, 2, 4, 3. Yeah, it's kind of done as one motion, one moment. Yeah. While I'm here, I want to point out measure 12. You have a natural sign in the upper staff. And then in the lower staff, they give you a flat sign in front of the B in parentheses. That's a courtesy sign. It's to remind you this really is a B flat here. Play a B flat here. You see, each staff has to have its own set of symbols. So a flat sign in one staff does not apply to a flat sign in another. Or a sharper, no. But they're telling you, make sure it's a B flat. You may think, well, maybe they made a mistake and they meant to do a B natural and they just forgot the natural sign. So they're telling you, make sure you play a flat there. And that sometimes they put courtesy signs in parentheses and sometimes they don't. It's like at the end, at the bottom of page 5, they give you a natural sign in front of the D in that last chord. They don't need the natural sign. It's a D anyway. It's a courtesy sign. And they didn't put it in parentheses. They could have, but they didn't. So it's whatever. Different publishers will do it differently. Just follow the rule. Regardless of what the publisher is doing, follow the rule. An accidental is good for the rest of the measure in that staff. Okay. A piano player would take that rule a little further, but I'm not going to get into it right now. Now on measure 19, measure 19 here, you got that little grace note. Again, people don't do grace notes. They don't interpret them the same. It's a quick note. It's not rhythmic. It's a quick note here. That's just a quick note. Some people play it before the beat, so it's... Some people play it on the beat here, so it comes with that. You do it the way your teacher tells you to do it. I was taught in college, I do them on the beat. I just do them a lot. And a lot of times in country western and gospel, they will do them on the beat anyway, but I'll do it. Measure 23, staccatos in left hand. And then here, and just coming down. The fermata there at the end, just hang on to that. What feels right, and when you're ready to go on, then go on. And measure 29 and all, this is all very connected here. Now I might mention here about 5/4 or any measure with 5 counts in it. There's a couple different ways it can be done. It depends on the music. You can feel it in 2 and 3, 2 beats and 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 3 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The way it's slurred, they want you to feel it in 2 and 3. You don't necessarily have to lift up between slurs, but they're kind of pointing out the natural accents here. The left hand isn't helping because it's more like a 3 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're doing different things in the hand here. And you're back to staccato. And then that's not staccato, that is. And at the end you get too much. You have a staccato, you have an accent, and you have sforzando. In my opinion, that's silly. Sforzando is the loudest accent you can have on a piano. It's just boom. Let the wrist collapse a little bit. Don't pound on it, just boom. Both hands. You don't need an accent with a sforzando. It's just no. For piano, you don't. So just just play it loud and staccato, both hands. That's it. But let the wrist collapse a little bit. Don't stiffen up. Then after I get the articulation sort of under control, I'll think about the dynamics. It applies to the melody. Most of the time, the melody is going to be in the right hand, but you have to watch out. Soft at the beginning. Gentle. This is very soft. Now, all of a sudden, you go to moderately loud. Come down to moderately soft. So you put in the dynamics. Then the speed, well, this kind of thing you can actually change speeds. You have to kind of experiment with it. I think we can be a little looser if you want to get the parts of it, different styles, be a little faster, whatever. I think that's fine. If you want to take it all at one speed, I'm sure that's fine too. It doesn't say anything. It just says comfortable speed, whatever that means. If you're going to take it all at one speed, you got to look around and find the most difficult part and how fast can you take that comfortably. That's going to be your speed. If you're going to be changing speeds at the different styles, then take each one separately. I don't know. I think that's a... That's fine with me. That's because the eighth notes are going to... How fast can you do that? So you have to watch out on the different styles because no hesitations or nothing. It's got to be all rhythmic all through. Now they've added pedal in a couple of places. I think you can get along just fine without pedal. But they've added it, so let's see what's going on. On measure 5, they say cone ped under the staff. That means with pedal. Not telling you how or when or why or whatever. They're just saying with it. Part of the style. They want you to connect all these. They want the harmony. They want the overtones. It's going to be overlapping. I'm going to push the pedal down right after the first notes on measure 5. Change it right after I play the next one. It's a different chord. And that's it. When you get to the pop style, you don't pedal that. Because that would mess up the style. And then we don't pedal again until measure 24. And this one, you just hold it down here and smear all this together. Because you're going to slow down on that too. I could slow down more. Here. And then go ahead. You can lift the pedal in the hands at the same time if you want, but you got to move both hands. So if you'd like to get your hands down here ready to go, and then lift the pedal, let the pedal carry, and then you're ready to go. Yeah. And then they don't say it, but on the very last note at the bottom, the chord here, that has an 8 above it, by the way. You can pedal that. Pedal goes down with the chord and up with the chord. You're just adding... Because it's so loud, it's where it's on. We're adding overtones just for an instant. That's very common in piano. When you have loud notes like that or accents, sometimes we'll pedal them to add the overtones to it. However, keep in mind that if you're going to use pedal, even though it's only used on a couple spots, put your foot on the pedal for the whole piece. Don't be putting the foot on the pedal and taking it off. No. Put it on there and leave it. Now, if you're not going to use pedal at all, you don't need to put the foot on the pedal. That's fine. But otherwise, put it on there. Now, you don't need to play it the way I do. That's just one way it can be done. If I played it again, I'm sure I'd play it differently. You have to take it at your speeds and your feels. See, I speed it up a little bit on the pop or the reggae part or different parts. Now slow it down for other parts. That's just the way I do it. You feel it. You get into it and feel it. How do you feel these different styles?